Welcome to Tone Barbecue. I'm Tony, and in this video, I'm going to answer a couple of questions that I get asked all the time. Can the Char-Griller Grand Champ XD offset smoker be used for direct heat grilling, and is it any good at it? Well, the answer to both of those questions is yes. And not only am I going to show you a quick demonstration of grilling with the Char-Griller Grand Champ XD offset smoker, I'm also going to review with you some of the important details you're going to want to know about one of these units, and also the pros and cons of grilling on this. So let's get into this. But first, a little bit of disclaimer and a bit of information about me. First of all, this is not a paid promo for Char-Griller. Char-Griller has never given me anything, and I'm not even an ambassador for Char-Griller, nor do I want to be. Truth is, I don't like doing paid promos. It makes me feel like a sellout, and I'm not here to sell you anything, but I do like sharing information with you about the various tools that I use, because I like using tools that are affordable, accessible, things that you can get from your local hardware store that everyday backyard barbecue guys use, and that work really well, that I find to be very good value. And trust me, I get multiple offers every week to do paid promos for various companies, usually for stuff that I've never used, never heard of, and never will use. So no, I'm not doing that. So a little bit about me. I'm a normal, average backyard barbecue guy. I've been barbecuing my whole life, and I am old. So matter of fact, why don't you take a guess and let me know in the comments how old you think I am? I'd like to know. But anyways, I've been barbecuing for a very long time, and I just love it. This is my actual backyard. This is my actual cooking island. Everything you see here are things that I use on a very regular basis, almost every day. This is even my actual dog. His name is Packer. He's a Greater Swiss Mountain Dog. You can usually see him in the background. Matter of fact, once he was in the far background of one of my videos as I was cutting a delicious piece of beef, and he's dropping a giant deuce in the background. I'm surprised nobody's noticed that and commented. So my videos might look a little different from some of the videos you see on YouTube, and that's because, like I said, I'm a real backyard barbecue guy. This is not a set. I don't have a camera crew. My lighting sucks. I barely know how to work the camera that's recording me right now. What I like to do is I like to pretend that you're actually here with me. I'm not looking into camera. I'm looking at you. We're having a conversation while we're cooking, having a few drinks, and having a good time. That's it. So my channel is monetized, and like I said before, I don't like doing paid promos. So I have to rely on you to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And that means, well, since I'm not all that hot and sexy and I can't sing and dance, I have to provide content to you that you might find valuable. So, having said that, let's get into this. And by the way, if you're interested in learning how I actually make money on YouTube, I'd be happy to share that information with you. Just go to the comments and type the word money in the comments. If at least 100 people comment the word money, then I'll go ahead and make the video and upload that, all right? Let's do it. So this is a Char-Griller Grand Champ XD offset smoker, and it's nothing special. And you know what? I said that once in a previous video, and this one viewer was really offended by that. He really loves the Char-Griller Grand Champ XD, and I don't blame him. The reason I said it's nothing special is because, well, it's a mass-produced offset smoker that you can pick up at your local hardware store. Matter of fact, I think it's just Home Depot that sells them. And matter of fact, if you want one of these, if there's a link in the corner of this video here, you can click on that link and you can go directly to the Home Depot website and get more information about it. And I'll go doing that right now. All right, stay here, finish watching the video. You don't even know if you like it yet, so let's get on to that later, okay? So anyways, what I meant by that is that it's mass-produced. It's not one of those custom jobs that cost thousands of dollars. I believe Home Depot is selling these right now for around $7.25. The price has gone up a little bit in the last year or so, so keep that in mind. But what I mean is that it's affordable, it's accessible. You pick it up from the Home Depot. They'll ship. You can order it online. They'll ship it right to your house. And if you do happen to buy one, and you do use that link that I told you about, which I'd greatly appreciate, because I'll get a little commission off of that. So there's a little, that's one of the tiny ways. Trust me, it's tiny. Not very many people have done that, but it helps support the channel, and I appreciate that. So this is designed primarily to cook meat, whatever you want, in this cooking chamber over here by putting your wood or your charcoal over here in this firebox. You burn it over here, and the smoke and the heat flows through here and out the stack here, and your meat slowly cooks over here. You usually are cooking at a pretty low temperature, 200, 225 degrees, 250, and it takes a long time to cook a giant chunk of pork or beef or something like that, and it's freaking awesome for that. This is really, really great. In my opinion, this is the best offset smoker that you can buy for this price range. If you want to get something better, you're gonna have to step way up to like one of those $2,500 or $3,500 big custom jobs you can pick up from various different places that just make them custom for you. You order it, then they build it. Okay, you can pick this up off the shelf at Home Depot, and it's freaking awesome. And really, I doubt that I'm ever going to replace it with something else like, you know, one of those expensive units, even though I could. Yeah, I'd rather just, you know, we can relate, all right? So this is designed not only to be able to do offset cooking with your firebox and your wood burning over there, but you can also grill in this. So it comes with a couple of shelves here. You got your upper rack here for putting, I like to put potatoes and veggies and stuff like that up there. Or if I'm cooking some ribs and some other stuff, maybe I'll put the ribs up top. Okay, and then you've got your main grilling grate right here. Now, when I am, let me get this out of the way. So when I'm smoking, you know, this comes with a little baffle plate here to help direct the heat into the cooking chamber. But when I'm smoking meat, I'm usually using my lava lock baffle plate here, which helps distribute the heat more evenly. The smoke is channeled to come up through all the various holes, and you get a better heat distribution inside the unit. But when you're grilling, you've got this grate here that is designed to hold your charcoal. So your charcoal is not just going to be sitting on the bottom of your barrel here, okay? It's going to go right on top of this, and it's going to burn properly that way, and it's going to protect the barrel of your smoker from getting damaged by having all that coals directly on the bottom of your smoking chamber. So when you're grilling meat, you got to take a couple things into consideration. You know, how long you're going to be cooking, how much you're going to be cooking. One of the things I really like about the Char-Griller Grand Champ XD is this is a giant rack here that gives you plenty of room to cook a lot of stuff. When I'm cooking a lot of food, this is the one that I like to use if I'm going to be doing some direct heat grilling, because there's just so much space. This one has more space than the other rigs that you saw here earlier. Plus, you got the extra rack up here. So what you do, you know, you gotta, just like with any time you're grilling, you want to plan your cook, all right? If you're cooking, and there's basically three ways of grilling. You've got your hot and fast direct heat grilling, you've got your indirect heat grilling, and then you've got kind of a combination. So your direct heat grilling is going to be something when you're like trying to do it when you're searing up a steak really quick. All right, maybe it's just you're just going to sear it up on both sides. Maybe you're doing some carne asada, something that cooks really fast. You know, you go ahead and load up your charcoal here in one area, and you can get it nice and hot. Make sure it's whited over and ready to go, and then you just go ahead and slap your meat right down on top of it, sear it up, and works great for that. It's actually got just the right amount of spacing. The spacing is comparable to the spacing you'd have in a Weber kettle, for example. So it works excellent for that. Now, if you're going to be doing some indirect heat grilling, that's when you're going to do something like chicken, something that you don't want directly over the fire because it's going to flare up too much, it's going to cook too quick and burn. In that case, you know, plan how much you're doing. You know, maybe you can put your charcoal over here on one side, and then you put your chicken, lay it out over here on the other side, and then as necessary you can put it, you know, on above the heat when you need to char it up a little bit, you know, be able to move it away from the heat when it's to prevent it from burning, and it works excellent for that. If you're doing a lot of food, like in this clip that I'm going to show you here, I've actually got 2 of those large flats of chicken. I don't remember how many pieces. It was probably like 10 thighs and, I don't know, 20 legs or something like that. But it was those 2 of those giant flats, all right? And I got them organized around here. So what I did in this case is I used 2 of my charcoal chimneys here, full of charcoal, almost all the way full here. Got them loaded up here, and I put both of those cans of charcoal right down here, and then I organize them so they're kind of in the middle, all right? So that's all right here in the middle, and that way I can arrange the chicken around the charcoal without the chicken being directly over the charcoal and dripping the fat directly into it, which has caused it to flare up too much, and it could possibly lead to the chicken burning. So it was close enough to the fire where it's cooking really good and fast, but it also was away so it wasn't going to burn. and that works out perfectly. Now, if I needed to, I could have easily put more chicken in there and right over the fire and then just rotate through, because what you want to do here is, you're gonna, when you're direct heat grilling this, you're gonna keep your firebox lid over here closed. And then your air intake that's over here on the side, you're going to want to have that maybe half open or less. And then your exhaust over here, well, of course, you're grilling, you're going to keep this lid down. That way you're trapping the smoke inside here. And then your exhaust, you want to typically close it off quite a bit. Now, with 2 chimneyfuls of charcoal inside here, I definitely wanted to keep the heat level low. So that means I needed to keep this closed like 90%. So that way it really slowed the airflow in there and kept the charcoal from getting too hot, and it worked out perfectly. You can increase heat when you're using charcoal just by opening it up a little bit and letting more airflow make its way through the cooking chamber, and that will increase the heat. And I tell you what, this thing works phenomenal for that, because it's a one-piece barrel. If you notice here, this lid here is hinged, and there's a gasket all the way around here. So when it sits down on the barrel, it seals up pretty good. There's not a lot of air leaking in and out of it. But nowhere else on this does air come out, because it's a solid one-piece deal. Now, there is a drain plug that is down here, and I leave that drain plug out when I'm smoking something, because the fat that's rendering and dripping here, it's going to pull up. Sometimes it's a lot, especially if I'm doing a couple brisket. And that's going to drain out into this bucket over here, and instead of risking maybe overflowing over here into the firebox and then having a huge flare up. But when I'm grilling something, I put that plug in because I don't want extra air being drawn up through there, which might allow the charcoal to burn hotter than I want it to. So I'm kind of sealing that off. So plug in when I'm grilling, plug out when I'm smoking, and letting it drip into the bucket that's down there to catch it. And now then the combo version, when you're doing a little indirect and a little direct. Oh, that's like when you're doing a reverse sear steak, and it's pretty cool. You set up your charcoal over here, and you're gonna maybe put your steak over here, and you keep the airflow nice and low, so you keep the temperature nice and low. Maybe you're running around 250 degrees in here, and you got your steaks over here just slowly warming up and coming to temperature. And then after about an hour or so of coming up temp, and your steak's hitting that temperature you're looking for, maybe 125 internal. Then you can open it up, let it get some air, get it going a little bit. And then once it's nice and hot, about 10 minutes later, slap your steak down on top of that, sear it up nice, it'll flame up, and it does an excellent job. So that would be when you're doing a little both, a little indirect then to direct. So that's it. It works beautifully for direct heat grilling, and it's got way more space than even I love my Oklahoma Joe's Judge charcoal grill, but if I really need to cook a lot, this thing beats it. Now, the pros and cons. Well, the pros, I think I already went over the pros. It does a great job of trapping the air in here, not a lot of leaks or anything like that. All this extra space, the extra rack up here. You've got, according to Char-Griller, 1,200 square inches. Now, if you're looking at other barbecues, all right, just look at how many square inches of cooking space you actually have. 1,200. All right, just remember that number when you compare. And you got a lot of cooking space here. So it's big, it's space, it's excellent. So there's a lot of pros to it. The cons, the only con I can really think of, compared to my Oklahoma Joe's Judge, is the Judge has got this little door you can open up, and you can add more coal to the fire if you need to. This one, if you needed to add a little more charcoal to your charcoal bed here, that means you're going to actually have to pull this grate out and throw some more charcoal in. You might want to get that charcoal started up in your chimney starter or something like that. And it's not a big deal. You can wear some heat-resistant gloves, pick this up, maybe put it over here on a table or something. You want to put something underneath to catch drips and stuff like that if you got stuff cooking. But get it out of the way. Add more charcoal, put it right back. No big deal, okay? But how often are you really needing to add more charcoal when you're direct heat grilling anyways? I rarely, maybe if I'm trying to do a pork butt or something like that, that's not going to be an issue in this though, because if I'm smoking a pork butt, the fire's going to be over here. So really, I can't think of a situation where I would really need to add more direct heat grilling. Anything that I'm cooking, even if it's chicken that's just a halved chicken or a spatchcock chicken in here, if I wanted a direct heat grill it, I've got enough charcoal in here that's going to burn for an hour to 2 hours, depending on how much I pile up in there, keeping the vent closed to keep the temperature down. I'm not going to need, you're never going to be cooking for more than an hour to 2 hours direct heat grilling. It's meant to be fast. So, well, shoot, that's it. Enjoy this quick little clips here of me cooking up some chicken and having fun with this thing. And again, thank you so much for being here and watching. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share and all that fun stuff. Comment. And like I said before, if you want to know more about how you can earn money on YouTube, I'd be happy to share those details with you. I need at least 100 people to comment the word money, and I will do that. And don't forget to guess my age. I'm curious about that too. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I appreciate you. Have fun. Smoke on, my friends.